DAV began its year with a star-studded national convention that elected retired National Service Officer Larry Polzine as National Commander. As he looked forward to his year in top leadership, he welcomed the challenges offered by Congress and the administration in the uncertainty of an election year. Our members welcomed Vice President Joe Biden to the convention, who addressed the administration's efforts to improve the lives of injured and ill veterans and the effects of a growing backlog of benefit claims. Biden was joined by VA Secretary Eric Shinseki, who delivered his self-styled State of the VA address on the status of VA programs for veterans. Actor Gary Sinise again attended the convention, this time to accept the new Magic Legs Award to celebrate his deep respect for our nation's veterans. During the convention, then National Adjutant Art Wilson unveiled DAV's logo and slogan, which more clearly identified and branded DAV in the hearts and minds of veterans. Adjutant Wilson said the changes were just the beginning as the organization communicates with veterans, their families, and the public. Art called it a bold vision at a critical time in our history. DAV played a crucial role working with the VA to develop a Veterans Benefits Management System. The goal is to modernize and digitize the claims processing system. DAV was initially the first to work directly with VA to design and implement it, spending hundreds of hours providing advice and leadership so that VA can break the claims backlog using the new system. The end of the troublesome claims backlog may yet be within sight. The disgrace of military sexual trauma was repeatedly emphasized in our testimony before Congress. We urged lawmakers to give more latitude to claims involving unreported cases of MST, especially gathering supporting evidence identifying sexual assaults. In support of women veterans, DAV sponsored a special viewing on Capitol Hill of the independent documentary When Women Come Marching Home. The documentary addresses the issues women veterans face, from military sexual trauma to the unique challenges of navigating the VA benefits and healthcare system. The impressive depiction of the lives and difficulties of women veterans earned DAV support with a $150,000 National Service Foundation grant to distribute it to the PBS network. In addition, the documentary is being shown at VA facilities nationwide, with the national organization and departments working side by side, participating in all the VA screenings, offering our services to veterans. DAV also joined with the Women in Military Service for America Memorial to mark its 15th anniversary of honoring women veterans. Hundreds attended to celebrate the anniversary of the memorial. DAV's focus on women veterans has strengthened our organization. Our San Bernardino chapter hosted its 7th annual program focusing on women veterans and their families. With the election of a new Congress and 1/3 of the Senate, plus the re-election of President Obama, DAV went to work with the 113th Congress in January. We prepared our legislative priorities and began the process of garnering support for the programs to best serve our veterans. As the year progressed, we enjoyed several victories, but even more hard work remains before us as we urge Congress to do the right thing for veterans. Our vigilance in support of veterans has provided necessary protections to our rights and benefits, and we've been able to stop measures that would be harmful to us. One of the first documents to greet new members of the House and Senate was the independent budget, compiled by DAV and other veteran service organizations. The logical, insightful IB review of the funding needs is a much-referenced blueprint for federal veterans spending. DAV's primary concern was VA healthcare and benefits, which supported VA's disability benefits questionnaires and the Veterans Benefit Management System for active benefit claims. The IB called for a $4.6 billion increase in VA appropriations. Pushing the envelope on the future, DAV was the first to file a fully electronic claim with VA. A claim seminar sponsored by Chapter 10 in Alexandria, Virginia, attracted more than 200 veterans with more than 50 claims filed. Everything necessary for the veteran's claim was filed immediately on the spot, instead of filling out a stack of paperwork and mailing or carrying it to the VA. It was the outstanding work of Chapter 10 and our national and chapter service officers that provided not only information, but swift action in service to our nation's veterans. Our service program enjoyed a year of expansion thanks to our department and chapter service officer training program. Our national service officers trained an impressive 1,965 department and chapter service officers during 2012, who have provided 184,370 volunteer hours helping our veterans complete their claims for submission to VA. With their excellent training, experience, and certification, our veterans are confident they are receiving the finest representation available and can take comfort in knowing that their claims are filed professionally and competently by our DSOs and CSOs. In close association with this program, the local Voluntary Assistance Program had tremendous success helping our veterans in rural areas far from our national service offices. These 2,152 LVAP volunteers donated nearly 376,000 hours to assist our injured and ill veterans and their families. In testimony before Congress, DAV warned that the much maligned VBMS program should not be abandoned before it was given a chance to work. DAV testimony urged more focus on efforts to resolve the underlying problems that created a massive backlog. We cautioned it was difficult to gauge the success of the program when it was still being implemented nationwide. Our annual Midwinter Conference gave DAV the chance to highlight our legislative priorities as Commander Polzine addressed a joint meeting of the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees. The commander stressed meaningful, reasonable, and responsible public policy for our injured and ill veterans. He also urged the VA to focus on creating a benefit system that gets each claim done right the first time. Hundreds of DAV leaders in the audience gave standing ovations during the presentation as the commander addressed the greatest challenges facing veterans today. To bring Congress to veterans, a DAV virtual town hall invited House VA Committee Chairman Jeff Miller to directly discuss VA's programs with veterans. More than 29,000 people logged on to pose hundreds of questions to the leader of veterans legislation. It was one of a series of town hall meetings that provides the cyberspace community with direct contact with our lawmakers. Last fall, the national organization and the departments of Minnesota, California, and Tennessee began a series of events to bring community leaders, celebrities, and organizations together to support veterans. The continuing Community of Heroes program thanks these leaders for their work and provides vital information they need to best serve veterans. There are plenty of battles with Congress, but one that was fun was when our USA Warriors ice hockey team took on the Lawmakers team, made up of members of Congress and their staffs in Arlington, Virginia, last fall. The Lawmakers won 7-3, but it was one of the closest matchups of the year. The Warriors, a partner with DAV, is one of the great sports rehabilitation programs available to our injured and ill veterans. Later, the Warriors traveled to Chicago for a weekend of outdoor hockey at the Hockey City Classic at Soldier Field. The team of injured veterans faced off against a celebrity team of professional hockey alumni and local celebrities, and the sled team took on the Chicago Blackhawks sled team from the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago. Providing the help needed to outfit the team, DAV enlisted the support of So Much Comfort volunteers in Alexandria, Virginia, to provide special jerseys emblazoned with DAV's logo. The nonprofit organization of volunteer seamstresses creates or adapts clothing to meet the unique needs of wounded service members and veterans in military and VA hospitals. More than 950 seamstresses across the nation and in Germany have produced 115,000 articles of adaptive clothing so far. Now, assisted by a grant from DAV's Charitable Service Trust, So Much Comfort will be able to clothe even more veterans. The National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic attracted nearly 400 injured and ill veterans to Snowmass Village, Colorado this year, a truly heartwarming event in which new abilities are learned and old skills are resurrected. Our Freedom Award recipient was Army Sergeant Christian Dino Cedeno, who overcame the loss of his leg in Afghanistan. The one-time avid snowboarder made extraordinary strides on the slopes, renewing his sense of pride and confidence, as did all the participants in this year's event. DAV is very grateful for all the support of our sponsors in helping fund the Winter Sports Clinic. We especially want to thank all DAV departments and chapters who have contributed to the success of the annual event. It is truly inspiring and a spirited miracle on a mountainside. We reached a milestone for the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial when the District of Columbia awarded $6 million to make changes to city streets surrounding the memorial. It completed the second phase of federal funding and cleared the way for the roadway construction to begin. Our disaster relief program became a lifeline for hundreds of veterans and their families who suffered from natural disasters throughout the year. Our Gulf and East Coasts were hammered by violent hurricanes, and tornadoes brought tragedy to Oklahoma and elsewhere. Through it all, we worked in concert with our departments and chapters. While department and chapter leaders and volunteers had boots on the ground, helping those in need in so many ways, our National Service Officers were on the scene to provide disaster relief vouchers to the families who needed them most. DAV partnered with Golden Corral to help sponsor Camp Corral for thousands of children and grandchildren of family members who died or were injured in military service. The program provides a week-long summer camp, allowing the kids to connect with fun activities and resources to help them cope with their unique challenges. In support of the program, DAV created the Just Be Kids Scholarship Program to allow 400 children between 8 and 15 to attend Camp Corral events. Children and grandchildren of DAV members and auxiliary juniors can apply for the scholarships. These scholarships are made possible by grants from the DAV Charitable Service Trust and DAV Auxiliary National Organization, and funds contributed by DAV chapters and auxiliary units across the country. Golden Corral's support of DAV continued with last year's record Military Appreciation Monday events across the nation. Patrons of the event donated nearly $1.3 million to support department and chapter programs. So far, Golden Corral has raised more than $7.3 million since the program began in 2001. Meanwhile, other corporations such as Hertz, Charles Schwab, and ICF International supported DAV with contributions during the Veterans Day period. When National Adjutant Wilson announced his retirement in April, it was a seismic event for DAV. Only the 7th National Adjutant in our history, Art stepped down after 19 momentous years at the helm. His years of dedicated service and integrity helped make us the finest veteran service organization in the world. It was the climax of a brilliant 47-year career in which Art was on the cutting edge of change. Many of our inspiring programs today were the result of Art's hard work, ingenuity, and teamwork. These programs and initiatives demonstrate what DAV can do when working together at the national, department, and chapter levels. The number of veterans and families that have been touched by these programs is astonishing. National Service Program Revitalization, National Service Officer Academy, the Colorado Columbia Trust, Transition Service Program, Chapter Department Service Officer Training Program, the Department Fundraising Program, Local Volunteer Assistance Program, Internet and Social Networks, Women Veterans Program, Homeless Veterans Initiative, Mobile Service Office Revitalization, the Strategic Plan, Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance Charity Accountability Standards, and American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial. These are but a few of the brilliant initiatives that came from Mr. Wilson's leadership and vision, and all of them are centered on service to our nation's injured and ill veterans and their families. It is a remarkable legacy that Art leaves behind and that we are entrusted to follow. It is an esteemed record of his lifetime of service and one that will be very difficult to equal. Art's retirement is a transition, and I'd like to personally discuss with you our future together.